always understood. He always forgave.
Welcome to BTG Ministry. This ministry is about men and it's for men. And ladies, you can come along and join us. We both can learn something. Welcome to the show tonight. We're here in the Queen City. There's a lot going on here in Charlotte. And we're here, we have District Attorney Brother Meriwether here to talk to us tonight about what's going on tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. I want to welcome you to the show tonight.
Thank you, Elder. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you
Thank
so
you,
much for
Spurs.
taking
Appreciate you.
your special time and coming down with us tonight. And tell the people what's going on tomorrow.
Well, I can tell you that tomorrow is Election Day. There are a number of offices on the ballot which are extremely meaningful to people across Mecklenburg County. One of those offices is, in fact, District Attorney, and I am on the ballot.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, right now, the criminal justice system is of extreme importance and significance, and it affects so many people. It is critical that we are doing what we can to establish trust and transparency for the people of our community, the people of Mecklenburg County.
Yes, and the people are looking for change. They're
Indeed.
looking for change. I think they heard the same story. We heard words, but no action. And the people are really looking for change. And what could you say you offer different as other people on the ballot?
Well, what I can tell you is that the course of the work that I've been engaged in for 11 years, it's never been about politics. When you're dealing with someone who has been the survivor of domestic violence, you're dealing with someone who's been the survivor of sexual assault, when you're talking with someone who's had their home violated and broken into by someone, no one's ever talking about politics with regard to those things. They're talking about how can you keep me safe and how can you treat me fairly. And it's that perspective as a line prosecutor for the course of the last 11 years that I bring to this work, particularly as someone who has the background that I have. It's extremely important for me to think about how we can make this system work for everybody. Shouldn't matter what you look like, shouldn't matter how much money you have in your pocket, shouldn't matter what your zip code is, but how can we make this fair and just for everyone?
So tell the audience about your career. What brought you up to where you are now?
So originally, I was born in Mobile, Alabama, and I spent my entire childhood there. I was fortunate enough to get into Princeton University. I was admitted there. After graduating, I worked on Capitol Hill for a couple of years for Eleanor Holmes Norton. She was a lawyer in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, very active in the civil rights movement. She was an extremely important role model for me, someone who showed me that you could really work for people in the law. The law didn't have to be about making a whole lot of money. The law was really meant for you to serve people. After my first year at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Law School, I, in fact, interned in the Mecklenburg County District Attorney's Office, interned with the homicide team. It was there that I found myself sitting across from families who had lost a loved one due to homicide. And it was there that I saw that I really could make an impact on families. I couldn't promise outcomes for people, but like any professional, I could promise to bring whatever skill that I had, whatever aptitude I had to this extremely significant work. And that's what I've tried to do over the course of 11 years.
Yeah, it's amazing because I know you've been before many cases.
Right.
But at least when you're passionate enough to do all that you can do.
Yes, sir.
And in the direction of helping these people, in the direction of having, let them see a better tomorrow than what today looked like.
That's right.
When you go home and the people understand that you did all you could do.
Right.
That brings on a different atmosphere all in itself.
The promise that I make to every victim family that I interact with is that I will always be honest with them. I may not be able to do exactly what they want, but I ought to be able to answer all of your questions, and I ought to be able to make sure that I'm being trustworthy with you, because that's what I'm called upon to do. When you're called upon to serve, that service has to be built upon trust. It has to be built upon having someone's best interest at heart. And that puts me in a position of not necessarily having to give people all the answers that they want,
Right.
but I give them the answers that they need, which is based upon the truth and not anything else.
My gosh, my gosh. So, was this your dream to be a district attorney as a young person? Or?
I don't talk about it in terms of dreams, but I talk about it in terms of a vocation.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, my parents never told me they had no expectations as to the particular type of job that I took, but they thought it was extremely important that I dedicate my work towards being honest. It had to be honest work, and it had to be something that truly helped move others forward. And I found that in this work. You can find that in whatever you do. I mean, this town is filled with people who work in the financial industry.
It
and
is.
Work in energy and work in all sorts of commerce. And through that work, you can do it honestly, and you can do it in a way that advances people. In my line of work, I saw that there was a need for someone like me to do this sort of work.
Wow.
So that's why I tried to fulfill that need.
Yeah. So, who are your supporters? Different companies' names and other people in your category.
Well, you mean as far as in the work that I do, or in?
Yeah, and
Okay.
the work that you do.
Okay.
Who's your supporters?
Well, when I say supporters in the work that I do as district attorney, my supporters I lean on the community extremely hard. My support has to come from the community. I don't have a whole lot of legitimacy. None of us do who hold public office if we can't depend upon the people who live and work and serve and play, recreate in this community. We have to have their support, have to be able to lean on the good work that they're doing every single day.
That's so true. So why would you think someone would vote for you
Well,
tomorrow?
what I would say is that I ask for the confidence of the people, and have asked for the confidence of the people of Mecklenburg County, because I've tried to do nothing but be honest and forthright and transparent in the work that I do. I think that the work of a district attorney, I'm surrounded by all sorts of tragedy every single day.
Yes.
And in that tragedy, it requires someone who's willing to bring serious solutions to it. The work that I've done, the perspective that I've had, the experiences that I've had, has all been rooted on seriousness and making sure that I'm working for somebody else. That has to be at the core of what a prosecutor does. It's a whole lot of authority and a whole lot of power to have to put in the hands of someone who doesn't take that authority seriously. I believe I've demonstrated in a way that can give people confidence that in fact I will administer that authority in a way that's serious, in a way that's always looking to help other people first.
Yes, that is so true, because you have the power to give people a deep sentence.
Yes, sir.
You have the power to give people life. I mean, so you have a lot of power in your hands, and I thank God that you're loyal, and you don't usurp your authority
That's correct.
on others, because we need. There is situations now. You probably can tell me better than I can tell you. Situation now that's not normal.
Right.
That we that we can't even explain, but they need some special need. They need some special attention.
That's right.
They need mercy.
That's right. That's right.
You
And
know.
and that has to be, the television sort of paints a picture of people in the law as if they're sides, as if it's sort of a competition. But when, I don't have a client. My client is the community. Every time I'm faced with a case, I need to be thinking, what is best for the community? When I have someone who's an offender, who's committed a crime, there are options for me to put that person and hold them accountable and maybe put them in prison. But my ultimate question has to be, is that best for the community? Is there something, for instance, that will allow me to help this person who's an offender become a better member of the community, and make them a better contributor to the community? And if that's the answer, that's what I've got to deliver as a prosecutor. Our options are limited in the criminal justice system, but I think that myself, along with other collaborative partners in the criminal justice system, which has to include the community, have to come up with better and more creative solutions to make for whole contributors to our community.
So do you see things changing for the convicted felonies, guys
do.
that come out? It's like a stigma they can't get a job, they can't pretty much do anything, but in turn go back to prison.
From a political point, from a social point, I think the answer has been clear for a long time that we have to figure out ways to re-enfranchise people who have made mistakes and been held accountable for it, but that shouldn't mean that we should be writing anybody off. When someone breaks into someone's house and when someone, steals something, the key is that they would get some sort of probationary or a short sentence, but not a life sentence. And it can't be the fact that we've written off someone's life merely because of a mistake that they've made. We can take it seriously, but we have to make sure that the door is open for them to become positive contributors again to the community. What I didn't mention when I said political and social is that there's an economic piece to this as well. The fact is this is an untapped resource for the people of this county, and the more that we can continue to open the doors to reinvest in people who have made these mistakes but are right and are willing to become positive contributors to our community again, we've got to make sure that we make that investment.
Yeah, because it is possible that a person can change.
That's right.
They could do wrong for 20, 30 years, but they can change.
That's exactly right.
And the opportunity for them to live a different life, it should be there.
That's exactly right.
So what would be the biggest hindrance in stopping you from performing your duty to the fullness? I'm saying when you want to make a decision, and a lot of times your decision is not considered.
There's been much that's been said about the great power of the district attorney, but the fact is the district attorney, like every other critical partner in our government, can't do a single thing alone. It's the reason why you keep hearing me talk about words like collaboration and working with the community and partnering with other resources, because without them, there's nothing that we can do.
Yeah, that's great. So we thank God for you, man.
I appreciate that.
I know you hold a strategic, very, very strategic part, man, and I know people are praying for you. I'm praying for you.
I appreciate that.
And it takes God's wisdom and direction to help you even make it through a day, because I know it has to be stressful.
Yes, sir.
Many times we want things to go the way we want them to go, and sometimes we overbearing, and sometimes we just give in too much. But to have that balance.
Yes, sir.
To have that balance and make a decision over people's lives, family lives, I know it's have to be hard. I know in my travels I minister to different families, and men come out of prison,
right?
And I'm nowhere near have the power that you have. But sometimes I get stressful myself, and I feel like I'm helpless, because sometimes the need is so strong, just to get the individual to change their mind. You see the kids that need, and you see the dysfunction in the family unit being pulled apart. It's very stressful. But I thank God for you, man, and my prayers are with you that you reach your goal tomorrow.
Elder, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And we're gonna say to the people, come out and do your duty tomorrow. Come out and support. Come out and support. Put your vote in. We can't tell you who to vote for. We just ask you to do your part as a community, as a citizen. Come out and put your vote in. Many times we have words of complaints, but we don't do our part. So we ask you to come out and do your part. Thank you very much. God bless you.
God bless you.
Man.
Elder, thank you so much. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
that.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you so much.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you for watching the show. If you want to follow me on my contact information below, feel free to reach out and contact me, and we'll be right back. It's a great day in Queen City. So glad you could join us today. This is a part of the show where we spotlight local artists. And we had one here tonight by Carlos Dwayne. We want to thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. You're doing great work out there.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. What inspired you to write the kind of music you write?
Well, I am a 90s R&B kid. Like, I love 90s R&B, everything about it, like the positive vibes and the messages that used to come behind the music. It always was something with the music. So with that, it inspired me to write and give those feels that we used to have where the music actually, you know, talked about something instead of it just being something over a beat, anything over a beat.
Okay. Yeah, in other words, have music with a message.
Right.
Okay, and that's great because when we look back years ago, Sam Cooke and James Brown, all they had a message in their
Marvin
music.
Gaye and
You know, not just a lot of noise, but
Right.
you have a message.
right.
And so, what audience do your message reach?
Well, actually, you know, I think everybody is looking for that 90s R&B music. You know, people that's around, you know, our age, like my age, like the 20s and 30s and things like that, who missed that kind of music where it had that message. So
Okay.
really it's reaching that audience. And then surprisingly, which is a good thing, it is reaching the kids, like the high school age kids. You know, sometimes they're the hardest critics. So to have it to the high school kids and they love it, it's like, okay, well, people actually do appreciate music still, you know.
Oh yeah, yes. Music it's great. It delivers so much. Is there anyone who currently influenced you in your sounds of music?
I would have to say Tank. Tank, and I'm glad he came back out. You know, Tank was early 2000s and 90s, but I'm glad he came back out and he's getting the shine and bringing that R&B back. So he really influences me, and he's somebody who a long time ago used to sing in a choir with my dad.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. That's great, man. Because Tank is doing it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is.
Tank is doing it. You see yourself being there anytime soon?
Definitely.
that
That's
level?
the goal, on that level.
My
on that
God,
level.
my God. What artists would you like to work with the most?
This is gonna probably sound cliche, but I probably would have to say Beyonce.
Really?
And the
Beyonce. Wait a
reason-
minute, you all over the place. Beyonce?
Beyonce. The reason why is, you know, I love Tank for the music and everything like that. So I
Okay.
definitely would, you know, when it comes to that, the R&B style. But the performance aspect of it,
Okay.
like I feel like right now Beyonce is dominating the performance aspect of it. And you know, I dance and sing, and so
Okay, I didn't know that.
to work with somebody like that and actually put on a production is like my dream.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But it's going to be based on your style of music.
Yes. You know, Beyonce, she started out R&B, and she still does R&B every now and then. I think she's trying to get back into it. She went pop a little bit for a while, so I think she's trying to get back into that R&B style. So I think we'll be good. We'll be good.
Wow, that's good, man. What's the story behind your music?
Well, I've been writing, because I write my own music as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been writing and singing all my life, actually. My dad was a musician. He sang in the church. He worked with a lot of gospel artists and things like that. And so with him, he always pushed me to sing. So I always was singing up under him, singing behind him. And so he passed away last year, last July. It was very unexpected. And so it kind of put a lot of things in perspective for me because I had kind of gotten away from music. I was just acting and modeling and dancing, but I didn't really sing and write songs anymore. And so when he passed, it just kind of brought me back to the place where I was just like, you know what, I have this talent and this is something that I love to do. It's a passion of mine. Why not put it out to the world? Why sit on this? And it really pushed me to get into writing music, and everything I write is from the heartbreaks I've had, the happiness I've had, the love and hurt and everything.
They say that's the most people that does that. That's really, really the best music out there, because you can really speak to the situation. It's not something you made up. It's
Right.
something you live. It's a
Right.
part of your life. So what type of music did your father sing?
Well, my dad was a gospel artist.
Gospel
He
artist?
was gospel. He was a pastor as well, so he was gospel all day. I mean, every now and then, you know, he'd do a little love song or something, but he was gospel.
Okay, so if I could identify, what church was he affiliated with?
Well, our church is I Change Ministries. Right now, my mom, she's a pastor as well, so she's taking over for him. But that's what we're affiliated with right now. So we're just trying to keep his legacy going when it comes to our
So in
church.
other words, you guys been in Charlotte all that time, even when Dad was singing.
I moved to Charlotte when I was 12, so and I'm 26 now. So he's been singing since he was 14 to 15 years old, and my dad was 45 when he passed. So we've been doing it for a long time.
So how did you discover your gift, knowing that you could write music? I know people saying, people telling you is one thing, but then when you really know yourself,
Right.
you know.
Well, I have always loved English class and writing and things like that. And so I used to write poetry. It always was my strong suit, was writing poetry. And so what I did was just turn that poetry into music. And it's a big correlation between those two, because when you're writing, of course you want to have a certain scheme that goes along where it makes sense, but you still want to write and use those metaphors and those things that people can relate to. So that's definitely what got me to writing music.
So what would you say to a young individual just thinking about doing what you have accomplished so far, writing music and stuff like that, and say there's an individual who's straddling the fence, they're thinking, well, I can do it, but they're not motivated, or they're not sure of themselves. What would you say to that guy today?
I would definitely say that you can do anything that you put your mind to. When you're an artist, it's your art. Nobody can tell you it's right. Nobody can tell you that it's wrong. It's your art. So put your best foot forward. When writing, what I do is I go into a place where I evoke an emotion that I felt before, or an emotion that I'm feeling at the moment, and I really just dive into that emotion, and I really get to writing, and whatever comes out is what comes out, and nobody can tell me that's wrong, because that's how I feel. And so I would say, work hard, keep pushing, be confident in yourself, have faith, believe that you can do everything that you put your mind to, and really just keep on working hard and working at your craft, because every day should be a day where you try to get better. You strive to get better at your craft. We're all growing. Even your favorite artist is trying to outdo themselves. And so just keep on pushing and keep on growing, and eventually you'll get to the place that you want to get to if you just push through those no's until you get to that yes.
Wow. So what's your gauge? What you gauge yourself by? You say you want to get better. And I'm asking you that because it's what you're writing is personal. It's yours. You own it. You lived it.
Right.
So nobody can really say it's wrong or
Right.
right. But how can you measure that you're getting better?
I would say by just, because me as a songwriter, I do write how I feel, but the arrangement of things, I want to make sure that, every album or every song that I'm putting out, the arrangement is getting better. The use of the creativity and being out of the box with the metaphors and relating things together is just crazy, where people are like, wow, I never thought of that. So I want my music to open up people's minds in ways where it's like, you really have to sit back and listen to it again, like, he really just said that, so that's my goal, and that's where I want to grow to be as a songwriter.
Wonderful, wonderful. You ever do any rap?
Actually, I do. I
do?
rap on some of my songs.
Wow.
I do. I rap on some of my songs. I would never consider myself a rapper, but I do have a nice little flow, so I put that in my music too. I use all of my talents when it comes to my music.
Wow, that's phenomenal. You are multi-talented. Really, really gifted.
Thank you.
Yeah, really gifted. Yeah. So where can people find your music?
Well, right now I currently have 2 singles. It's Selfish and Deep. It's on all digital music platforms: iTunes, Tidal, Google Play, Amazon Music, everywhere. So you can look for that. On May 31st, I have my first EP coming out. So it'll be like a whole project that I've been working on since September. So look for that. It'll be on all digital music platforms as well. Carlos Dwayne.
Carlos Dwayne. Wow, that's really big. That's really big. So, do your mother sing? Your family support you?
My family does support me. My mother does not sing. She tries sometimes, but my mother, she knows she's not a singer, but she definitely pushes me and supports me. My family is made of music, like on my dad's side, and my mom's side a little too, like made of music. So they definitely support me, following my dreams and being happy and supporting me and giving me the tools and the resources that I need, because as an artist, a new artist, it is very hard doing everything yourself financially and everything like that. So they help out a lot.
It can be lonesome too, can it?
It can be. But I have a great manager who helps me with everything.
Really? So the manager know when to push in and when to back off, huh?
Yes.
Because, I'm thinking that you need time to yourself.
Right. So
you need isolation time where you can really focus and be creative by yourself, not no one being in your ear.
Definitely. And that's the good thing about being an independent artist, because having that manager, you know, he does come in and step in and handle the business aspect, but he also allows me to handle the creativity part of it. So my writing and, you know, the way I arrange my music, he lets that be on me. He doesn't step in too much. He may say, I don't like that, or I do really like that, but that's about it.
Okay. Okay, so we thank you for being on the show. We have a video. Stand by, we want to play this video.
High, we must be high, so they're trying so hard to stop. We've got, but we don't give a damn about what they try to do. They can't come in between us, me and you. You know you're mine. You're my coffee in the morning, babe. My relief when I'm all frustrated. The cure when my body's aching. You're my baby, that's not changing. My eyes when I can't see what it is you see in me. The hell when I'm helpless, baby, that's why it makes them wonder why they can't get nothing from us. They gon' try, I know they want you, but you belong to me. And I know they gon' try to take, they gon' shoot that shot and try to break you. We don't care about what they do, 'cause you belong to me. Shook. They must be shook. Just one look is all it took. I'm hooked, and nobody can ever say we aren't meant to be. 'Cause I've got you when you got me, Daisy, baby. You're the night to my moonlight, baby. Hold me tight when I go crazy. Damn right, I fight for us, baby. Just don't change, and I'll be staying. My voice when I can't speak. My strength when I get weak. These niggas can't make me jealous. I feel it, that's why